Hello, my dear students. How are you? I hope that you are very fine and be hopeful, be positive, stay safe at your home. Now, let us read the second chapter of Supplementary Reader, The Tiger King. Today we shall discuss on the question answers of this chapter. The first question is, who is the Tiger King? Why does he get that name? So through the story you have come to know that the Maharaja of Pradvanpuram is the Tiger King, and he has also many other names such as Jilani Jangjang Bahadur and Jamidar Major, Khilidar General and Bhuvan Samrat, etc. And why does he get that name? Means, why does he get the name of the Tiger King? So my dear students, you know that when the Maharaja was living, his life was affected by the tiger, and even his death was also made by the tiger, and that is why we can say that his name was named as Tiger King. So you know, when he had taken birth to the king or in the royal palace, some astrologers came and they said that this boy would become the champion of champions, the hero of heroes, but one day he would die. And when this boy asked about the cause of the death, then the chief astrologer said that he would die by the tiger. And when he became a boy of 20 years old, he started for the hunting of the tigers, and in the last his death also came from the tiger. That is why his name was, or he was named as Tiger King. And the second question is, what did the royal infant grow up to be? You know that when the royal infant grew up, he became a strong king, a very strong king. Really, he became the hero of heroes and champion of champions. And he decided to kill the tigers. And when he started to kill the tigers in his kingdom, so he killed 70 tigers in 10 days. But when he killed the first tiger, he called the chief astrologer and he said, or he asked the chief astrologer that what would he say, because he had killed the first tiger. Then the chief astrologer said that he could kill 99 tigers in the same way, but his death would come from the 100th tiger. So he would be careful with the 100th tiger, and that is why he decided to become the hunter of the tigers, the killer of the tigers. It was his decision. And the next question is, what did the Maharaja do to find the required number of tigers to kill? So, you know, when he became a prince of 20 years old and he became the king of Pradvanpuram, then he decided to kill the tigers, and he set out himself into the forest to kill the tigers in his own kingdom, Pradvanpuram, and in 10 days he killed 70 tigers. And when one day he saw that the tigers came to the extinct, there were no tigers in his forest, then he became very worried, very sad. But an idea came in his mind, and he wanted to marry a girl in the royal family with a large number of tigers in her estate. So he called the Diwan and he said his idea to the Diwan, and Diwan went out in the search of such type of girl. and also he find out that girl. Then he began to go, he married that girl and he began to visit his father-in-law's house or palace, and every visit he was killing 5 to 6 tigers, and in this way he killed 99 tigers, but only one tiger was left to be killed. Then he ordered the Diwan, in order to manage the 100th tiger, to bring the 100th tiger, otherwise he would lose his post. Then Diwan went to the People's Park in Maharashtra, in Madras, and he brought a tiger in the midnight, and straightly he took this tiger to the Maharaja, where he was hunting the tigers in the forest, and in this way he managed the 100 tigers for his hunting. The next question is, how will the Maharaja prepare himself for the 100th tiger, which was supposed to decide his fate? So already I have told you that he killed the 99 tigers easily and comfortably, but when one tiger was left to be killed, so his worry reached on the fever pitch, on its peak and height. Then he called the Diwan and he said to the Diwan to manage this 100th tiger, otherwise he would lose his post, his service. That is why the Diwan went to the People's Park in Madras, and he retained the 100th tiger for him, for his hunting. And in this way he decided to survive himself from killing the tiger. The next question is, what will now happen to the astrologer? Do you think the prophecy was indisputably disapproved? So you know that when he killed the first tiger, and he was full of pride and prejudice, and then he called the chief astrologer, and he said proudly to this chief astrologer, what if he could kill the 100th tiger? Then the astrologer said that he could kill 99 tigers easily and comfortably, but his death would come from the 100th tiger. So he would be so careful, too much careful with the 100th tiger. And if, also he said, if he was successful in killing the 100th tiger, he would tear up all the books on astrology, and he would set the fire on these books, and he would cut his hair and tuft. Tuft means here the hair antenna, and he would become the insurance agent. This was declared by the chief astrologer when he asked about him. But I cannot say that, the second part is, do you think the prophecy was indisputably disapproved? So I can say that this prophecy was not declared disapproved indisputably, because we know that first of all you should know what was the prophecy. The prophecy was that the death of the king would come from the tiger, and it was the 100th tiger who would kill him. It was predicted by the chief astrologer, and really in the last the death of this king came from the 100th tiger. And you know that this 100th tiger was not the real tiger, it was not the flesh and blood, it was not the real beast, but it was a toy tiger, a tiger made of wood, a wooden tiger. And in this way, the prophecy was true. It was not falsified by the king. And the next question is, the story is a satire on the conceit of those in power. Conceit means proud, pride and prejudice. How does the author employ the literary device of dramatic irony in the story? So already I have told you that this is a satire. Satire means the व्यंग, an irony, a taunt. Really, this is a satire on the people who are in the power, because these people kill the wild animals brutally and cruelly. They do not care for their life. They do not think that the animals and birds have also right to live or to survive in this world. And since they are powerful, so in their conceit, in their pride, they try to kill animals and birds. But you know, in the last the writer employs an irony that he was killed by a tiger, but the tiger was not the real tiger, it was a toy tiger. So what is the message the writer wants to tell these people? The writer wants to tell that if you are killing even the birds and animals, certainly you would be also killed by them. The second question is, what is the author's indirect comment on the subjecting innocent animals to the willfulness of the human beings? Comment on the subjecting innocent animals to the willfulness of human beings. So really, it is an indirect comment on the people who are in the power, who are high profile people, because when they are living their life in their pride and prejudice, in their ego, so certainly they do not care for the wild animals and birds, etc. And they try to kill them for their sports, for their fun. And the writer says that in the last they are also killed by these animals or birds. They cannot survive themselves in their life. My dear students, the rest of the questions will be explained to you when the school is opens, because we are preparing the video and we cannot tell other questions in this video. Okay, thank you.